What happens after we die? Do we simply fade into darkness, or is there something waiting for us on the other side? The ancient Greeks believed that death was not the end, but a beginning. A soul's final journey led not to oblivion, but to a vast and shadowy realm ruled by gods, monsters, and judges. But not just any judges. These were men, mortal kings, chosen by the gods themselves to decide the fate of every soul that crossed into the underworld. 3 thrones stand in the court of the dead, and on them sit Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, the eternal judges. Their decisions are final, their justice inescapable. Before heaven or hell there is judgment, and your life is the evidence. Beneath the earth, hidden from the world of the living, lies the ancient realm of the dead, the Greek Underworld. It is not a place of fire or brimstone, but a vast and shadowed kingdom where every soul, rich or poor, hero or villain, must one day arrive. This is Hades, named after its ruler, the god of the dead. But Hades is not a place of chaos. It is a realm of order, of structure, and most of all, judgment. Upon arrival, the soul of the deceased finds itself standing at the edge of the river Styx, a dark and silent current that separates the living from the dead. There waits Charon, the ghostly ferryman. For a single coin placed beneath the tongue of the dead, he will carry the soul across the water and into the heart of the underworld. But not even Charon's boat can take a soul to its final destination. Because before paradise or punishment, before rest or ruin, there is a trial. A vast, echoing hall awaits beyond the river, and at its far end 3 thrones rise from the shadows, occupied by kings long dead, now tasked with judging the fate of every soul that passes through this realm. Their names are Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, and they are watching. Rhadamanthus, the incorruptible lawgiver. In life, Rhadamanthus was a just and noble king of Crete, born of Zeus and Europa, and known across the Aegean for his unyielding sense of right and wrong. His laws were so respected that even the wise men of later ages claimed to follow his code. After death, the gods rewarded his unwavering dedication to justice by appointing him as a judge of the dead. Rhadamanthus presides over the souls from the eastern lands, scrutinizing their actions with eyes that see through lies and self-deception. He does not favor the rich, nor is he swayed by pity. He judges with a heart of stone, but one that beats for truth. Those who lived with honor may find him cold, but fair. Those who lived in deception, however, will find no sympathy in his court. Aeacus, the keeper of the gate. Unlike his brothers, Aeacus lived and ruled on the island of Aegina, where he earned a reputation as a pious and impartial king. So revered was he for his fairness that even the gods called upon him to settle their disputes. In the underworld, Aeacus serves a dual role. Not only is he a judge of souls, particularly those from the western lands, but he also holds the keys to the gates of Hades. He is the gatekeeper, the first and last threshold between death and eternity. Stoic and silent, Aeacus does not speak often, but when he does, his words carry the weight of divine order. No soul may pass without his judgment, and no one escapes without his consent. Minos, the final arbiter. Of the three, Minos is perhaps the most well-known. A mighty king in life, Minos ruled Crete with wisdom and power and even consulted with Zeus directly. Though his reign was not without controversy, his reputation for balance and authority endured. In death, Minos was made the chief judge, the one who casts the final vote when the other two disagree. Calm, deliberate, and severe, Minos represents not vengeance but balance. When he speaks, the other judges fall silent. For in the court of the dead, Minos has the last word. His name was Timokrates. In life, he had been a soldier, a veteran of 3 wars, a man who had spilled blood for his city, yet returned home with no medals and no wealth. He lived the rest of his days in quiet obscurity, working as a potter, feeding his family with clay-covered hands. Now in death he stood alone in the vast hall of the underworld. Before him loomed the 3 judges, Rhadamanthus, stone-faced and stern, Aeacus, silent and watchful, the great iron keys glinting at his side, and Minos, seated at the center, his gaze deep and unreadable. Timokrates did not speak. He could not. Instead, his life unfolded in smoky visions. The judges saw the rage in his youth, the violence of the battlefield, the moment he spared an enemy who had already surrendered. They saw him steal bread for his children, and later return to repay the baker in full. They saw no great acts of heroism, just moments, decisions, burdens.
Rhadamanthus judged first, voice cold. He broke laws, even in times of need. Aeacus, after a long silence, nodded slowly. But he also honored debt and duty. Then Minos spoke, not to the soul, but to the darkness itself. Let him pass to the fields of asphodel. Not punished, not celebrated, just remembered. As the soul drifted away into the gray fields, neither weeping nor smiling, the judges turned to the next shadow in line. For their work is eternal, and judgment never sleeps. The Greeks believed that justice did not end with death. It began there. In a world where gods wielded lightning and monsters roamed the seas, it was 3 mortal kings who decided the fate of every soul. Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus were not perfect in life, but they understood something deeper than divine power. They understood what it meant to be human. Their judgments were not based on wealth or reputation, but on choices, acts of mercy, moments of failure, flashes of courage. In their court, every life is measured not by glory, but by truth. And so, their legacy endures, not in temples or epic tales, but in the quiet warning whispered across centuries. Live justly, for one day 3 kings may weigh your soul.